Hi everyone! I've been thinking that today I wanted to do a video on how to draw relaxed sitting poses, and I started to think a lot about what it really means for the human body to be seated, and I think I have a few nice things that I discovered that I want to share with you, so let's go! So instead of doing a lot of poses and drawing them one by one like I just did when I was showing you how to draw the standing natural poses, I decided to, well, after a bit of experimenting, I started drawing sitting poses myself, and I think I kind of nailed it. And I want to show you exactly what I was thinking when I was doing this in order to see if there's anything else or if this is good enough. So, look at this. Here are the sitting poses, but we're going to start with the first thing. Now, when we are drawing the standing poses, the first thing that we have to take into account is the gravity center. You know that I showed you, like this vertical line. Well, in this particular case, the gravity center is going to be the chair itself, because it is going to be the one that is going to be holding your body. So when I try to think like, well, if the chair is going to hold me, and that is going to be the gravity center, so to speak, you know, unless like the body's doing something ridiculous, like tilting to one side and about to fall, like we're just talking about relaxed poses here that are not doing anything weird, just sitting there. So if that is going to be the gravity center, now what is going to be the line of action? Because the problem that I always have when I'm thinking about line of action is that, well, there is a disruption here on the part where the legs are seated that is like, well, there's no line of action, like this flowy line that goes well with that break. And, well, I realized that maybe there was the best way to beat this. I can't delete this? Hello? Photoshop just crashed. As I was saying, that considering that this line is going to always be breaking there, maybe the best logical way to figure out how a person is sitting using the line of action in order to help ourselves do a natural composition is by, well, not taking into account the legs at all. Because when you think about it, in any sitting stance, the most important thing is like, what are you doing with your body? If you're leaning forward, if you're leaning back, if you're leaning to one side, and the legs, unless you're like crossing your legs or something, they're mostly going to be like just there, because, well, when you are sitting down, you're not using your legs. That's why you're sitting down. So let's do a quick recap of the lines of action that I use on each of these sitting figures. Now, they are super obvious. If you start here, it's going to be like this, then it's going to be like this. This one is standing super straight. This one is like this. This one is like this. Then maybe because I was putting the leg here, you can expand this, but And this one is going to be just curvy like this. So once I have decided how this character was going to lean, well, the only thing that I had to figure out is actually where his butt is going to be. Because, well, when you're sitting, how you're sitting, your butt may be on, you know, more forward or backward, depending on what you're going to do. And that is, remember when I was doing, maybe you haven't watched this, but I did a video on foreshortening, and I figured out that the best way to be accurate in the foreshortening is to have something that gave you context about the perspective and the camera angle that what you were using. Well, this is kind of the same, but not. What I mean by this is that since the chair is the only context that you have for the character, the best way is to figure out the most important thing that your character is going to be doing regarding that context, and since they're sitting down, the most important thing that's going to be your context about how the character is going to be sitting down is thinking where the butt is going to touch the chair. So, since this character is going to be leaning forward like this, the butt can be a lot behind. In this particular case, since the curve goes like this, is going to be just a bit forward. In this case, it's really against the back of the chair. In this particular case, since it's sitting down opposite, it's going to be somewhere like this. In this case, it is a bit more complex because I moved the hip a bit, but honestly, it's just like this. Still, what I did with this particular drawing, since they're also going to be leaning on the back of the chair, that I moved down a bit compared to the other chairs so it can be more comfortable. I started focusing maybe on this arm and how this would be. Like I tried to match these two lines instead of just focusing on the butt. The same thing I did kinda here, but since this pose is a little more straightforward, I still started with the butt and then moved on to the other things. And in this case, since this character is moving forward like this, the butt is going to be somewhere in the middle. And regarding what to do with the legs, in most of the cases, I cross the legs here in this character just to play a bit with it, but honestly, I don't think that it really affects how the rest of the body is going to react, because the most important thing is that your butt and your hips are placed in one place, and from there, you can just start moving. Like you can cross your legs and be forward like this with your legs crossed, or leaning back with your legs crossed, and it wouldn't change. It's like that break in the hip is going to actually break your legs and the rest of you into two different, lines of action. So what do you think? I practiced this and I think that the logic is sound. I didn't want it to waste a lot of time drawing them back again, but I'm pretty happy with the results. I'm going to do one more video about just like regular actions like walking and stuff like that. I'm a bit more nervous about that one. But this is going to be it for today. If you have any questions, leave questions in the comments. I'm answering all of them. If you like this video, give me a like. If you like this video and want to see more, subscribe. And if you are subscribed and you think that more people should see this, share it. That's going to be it for today. My name is Javi and I can draw, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!